Hello, my name is Oksana. This is Amilingo.com, School of Learning Languages. Today we are going to talk about first impressions. Now let's make a pause and wait for the students to come. Hello, Alexander. How are you?
Oh, hello. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Fine, pretty good. How was your day today?
My day was good day, good first work day. I have rest and I have настроение, mood. I have
A
good
good
mood for
mood. A good mood.
working.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's great, super. What have you been doing? Did you go out today or did you stay at home?
Um, After work, I go for a run.
Mhm.
And then I go home to study English.
To
I
study
have
English.
have have already one have already
Had.
had one lesson,
Mhm.
uh, and your lesson is next.
Mhm. And now is going to be the next one. Am I right?
Yes,
Yes. Okay. So today we are going to talk about first impressions. When do you think it is necessary to make a good impression?
make a good impression. Maybe it's important when we have uh, job interview.
Job interview. Yes. What else? What do you think? What else?
What else? Um, I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe
business meeting.
maybe business
And what
meeting.
about a
Yes.
date?
Date. I think yes, it is. It is important in date meeting.
It is also important.
Yes.
Yes, I agree with you completely. What do you usually do to make a good impression?
To make a good impression, um, I usually don't make. Um, I try to be uh, always. Um,
In
okay,
a
I
good
will, maybe
mood.
maybe I will try. I try to speak grammatically
Hmm.
and
Good.
what else? I try to be м, как это будет прилежный, что ли?
Polite. To be polite.
Polite.
Hmm. Yes, something
And
like that.
try to smile sometimes.
Hmm. Do you think it helps?
um, I think yes, it helps,
Hmm.
but
Great.
I don't know exactly.
Yes. Okay. So, in my mind, I think that smiling is very good approach to get people closer and to communicate with them better. So, in to some extent, it helps, and I think it is a good idea. But too much is not also very good. And now I'm going to give you a handout in the chat box. There is a link with a Word document. Please open it. I
Yes,
hope you'll be able to open it.
I opened. Yes.
Good, great. And here is the text about first impressions. Let's read it.
People say first impressions count. What do you think? Can you understand a lot about someone from the very first time you see them or meet them? I think I'm good at judging someone's character from the first time I set eyes on them. It's easy to understand if the person is my kind of person. First impressions count most when you meet someone important. If you have a job interview, it's very important to give a good first impression. The interviewer can decide if they like you as soon as you walk through the door. Are you well dressed? Do you look happy? Do you greet the interviewer? All these things are important. I also think first impressions count when you meet your future in-laws.
Future in-laws. How do you understand this? Future in-laws. So, do you understand what does it mean?
No.
So, father and mother of your girlfriend are your future in-laws. Father-in-law, mother-in-law. Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What does it mean count in this text? I didn't
Count. Yes, let's find it in this. So it is also important. Count.
People say first impression count.
People say first impressions are important. So people say first impressions count. You can say both variants in this case.
Okay.
So first impressions are important. Why do you think first impressions are important?
Why? Because it helps to get relationships.
It helps to understand whether you like this person or not. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
In this case, it is important because it favors or it doesn't favor the future relationships between the people. And from the psychological point of view, first impressions are really very important, and it is possible to arrange them in a proper way. So now let's discuss some questions. Do you like to meet new people, or do you prefer to hang out with people you already know? What can you say about it?
Do I like to meet new people, or do I like to hang out with people you already know? I can divide these people. I want. I need first and second.
So do you feel comfortable with the new people, or is it so difficult for you to communicate with them? Is it difficult to start a conversation?
It depends on people, how he talks, manner of talking.
Yes, I agree with you completely. So sometimes it is easy to deal with a person, and sometimes it is not. So people are different, and it is very important to find the one you are easy to deal with. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
The second question: when and where did you meet most of your friends for the first time?
For the first time, I meet most of my friends in school. In school, yes.
Did they remain to be your friends for all of your life?
Remain? Yes, some of them remained
to be your friends for the rest of the time. Good, that's really great. Have you met someone who you hated right away, even though you didn't know them?
Have I met someone who I hated right
away, even though you didn't know them?
I hated right away. Я ненавидел. Не понял.
From the first sight. For example, you see a person and immediately you start hating her or him. Was there such a situation in your life or not?
I can't remember. I usually I have no such situation. Usually
Didn't have such a situation.
yes, I usually hate person in the beginning.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. What are the best ways to make good first impression? What do you think? We already talked about it. So, what do you think is the best way to make a good impression?
The best way.
Mhm.
Um,
So we already mentioned to
yes, to
to
smile.
talk, to smile, to talk grammatically correct, and to have a good clothes, to be in a good mood.
Yes.
All of that includes a good impression. What kind of impression are you trying to make with your clothes? Do you use official clothes at your work, or do you use some special clothes when you have a job interview? Or are your clothes special when you are having a date?
Um, I don't pay attention on clothes.
To clothes.
To clothes.
Mhm.
I usually try to wear the same.
Mhm. So it doesn't matter whether you are going to work or you are having a date, you are going to wear the same thing. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
So it doesn't matter. It is not so important for you.
It's meta. It's
Mhm.
still meta, but
Mhm.
in this time I needn't to pay attention because I I wear normal mm, clothes, but
Mhm.
when in past when, for example, I worked as
Mhm.
in dirty job,
Mhm.
I shouldn't wear this clothes in date.
Yes.
Uh, but now it's good. It's
No,
normal.
it is important. Okay. Do you try to make a different first impression now than you did in high school?
Sorry, could you repeat question?
So, imagine that you were in high school. So, what kind of first impression did you try to make? And now, what kind of first impression are you trying to make now? And is it different or not?
Now and what time? High
In
school?
high school.
Uh, I don't. I have no difference with, between
So
these times.
in high school you were a student and you were just studying and it was a kind of work you were doing. But now you're having a job and you're spending your time working. And are your first impressions different that you're trying to make or are they the same?
Maybe I last time I I do something for make expression. Mm, Maybe
To make impression.
make impression because in school I didn't think about it.
Didn't think
I
about it.
didn't think that it's so important.
Important.
Yes,
I agree with you completely. Have you ever tried to make a great first impression but completely messed it up?
but completely what?
Absolutely, completely.
What
Mhm.
next? Completely.
Messed. So you made a chaos of it. So you didn't control the situation and everything went out of your control and you couldn't do anything to help the situation. So you were trying to make a fine first impression, but you failed to do it.
Uh, I don't remember. Maybe I have had this situation.
Mhm.
Now I can't remember.
Mhm. Mhm. I see. So,
Maybe yes, when I remember one case,
mhm.
It was a long time ago when I when I
Found.
when I was finding maybe
When I was looking for.
was looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
I had a job interview.
Mm-hmm.
I was 27 years old, and manager asked me some questions, and suddenly one question was, why you are not married in 27 years old?
Mhm.
And I was confused. I didn't know what to say, and why I should be married in this age.
So it's really a very personal question, and you shouldn't have been confused about it. So we know that in US, in Western Europe, in Great Britain in particular, people get married in an older age. So 35 years and 37, 38 is quite okay for getting married. But in our Slavic mentality, we got used to getting married earlier. So this is our tradition, our culture, but from culture to culture, the customs and traditions differ. And you shouldn't have been very confused about it, because people follow our culture. It is the reason of such a question. Do you agree?
Yes.
Mhm. And I've got one more question to you. In what jobs do people have to make very quick decisions based on first impressions?
Could you repeat the question, please?
In what jobs do people have to make very quick decisions based on first impressions?
Quick decision in job, maybe in job when people have business meeting.
Business meetings. Yes, so business people.
Business people.
What about police? Do they have to react quickly and follow their first impressions? Is it important for them?
Maybe no. I think no.
Mhm.
They have general reputation, and they can't change any impressions about them.
Mhm. So they have to follow their logic. Am I right?
Logic, yes. Yes.
What about doctors and teachers? Are first impressions important to them or not?
Yes, they should have good impressions. For example, doctors should make good impressions for customer, not to be afraid. And teachers should make good impressions for better wish of students to learn, to study. You understand?
Yes, I do. Yes, I agree with you completely. You're right. And the next question is the listening gap. So let's listen to the text and try to fill into the gaps. Okay?
Okay.
Listenaminute.com. First impressions. People say first impressions count. What do you think? Can you understand a lot about someone from the very first time you see them or meet them? I think I'm good at judging someone's character from the first time I set eyes on them. It's easy to understand if the person is my kind of person. First impressions count most when you meet someone important. If you have a job interview, it's very important to give a good first impression. The interviewer can decide if they like you as soon as you walk through the door. Are you well dressed? Do you look happy? Do you greet the interviewer? All these things are important. I also think first impressions count when you meet your future in-laws.
Thank you for listening. And now let's try to fill into the gaps. The first thing, you're welcome.
First impressions count.
Yes. So people say. People say first impressions count.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
What do you think? Understand. Can you understand a lot?
Can you understand someone from the very first time? I didn't get.
Can you understand a lot about someone from the very first time you see them or meet them? Yes, I think
I'm good judging someone's character from the first time I set eyes on them.
Yes.
It's easy to understand if is my kind of person.
If the person
is my kind of person. First impressions
count
when you meet someone important. If you have a job interview, it's very important to make first impression.
To give a good first impression.
The interviewer can
decide
yeah,
if they like you.
If they like you as
soon as you walk through the door.
Are you well dressed?
Do you
look
happy?
Do you
greet?
Do you greet
the interviewer?
All these things are important. I also think first impressions count when you meet you. I forgot.
Future in-laws.
Future in-laws, yes.
Future in-laws. And the first question, do you enjoy meeting new people?
Yes, I enjoy
meeting
new people.
The second, what are some good things to ask someone you just met?
What's your name? Good
things. To ask about the name and what do the English people usually talk when they meet? What do they usually start their conversation with?
With greeting. With
the so-called small talk. Am I right?
Small talk. Yes.
They usually talk about the
they are doing
the weather.
The weather.
The weather. Yeah, right. So English people start talking with this.
Yes.
And all the other sort of things. Is it okay to ask a person's age in your country? In Russia, for example?
In Russia, I know that it's not okay to ask women's age in Russia, but about men's, I think it's okay.
Yes. Yes. And what are some things you shouldn't ask people you just met?
Shouldn't ask? I didn't know.
For example, money. How much do you earn? And the salary. How much do you get? In United States and Great Britain, it is considered to be impolite when you're asking about the salary and money, your income, and your property, and something like that. So it is considered to be impolite. What about Russia? Is it considered impolite to ask about money and the salary?
Salary? I don't know. I didn't notice that, but I feel not good when I want to ask about salary, and usually people don't ask about salary, but sometimes they do.
Yes. Are you nervous when you are introduced to someone new? For example, in the office or at work?
No, not. I'm not nervous.
So you feel comfortable about it.
Yes,
It is pretty easy for you to get new friends and to communicate with them. Am I right?
pretty what?
Good, pretty easy. Easy for you.
It's not easy, but I like having new friends.
Friends. But sometimes people get very nervous about it. And what are some ways to overcome being nervous about meeting new people? What would you advise to overcome being nervous?
I don't know what to advise. Maybe they should try to do it often, more often.
To
And
communicate
maybe
with people more often.
they should drink a little.
Maybe like that. And breathe deeply, feel comfortable about it, and not to worry about making a mistake. So it is also very important. About how many new people do you meet a week?
A week?
Mm-hmm.
Now I have no new people. My job, no. I very rarely meet
New people.
people, yes.
So where are some good places to meet people?
Good places to meet people. Maybe in sport clubs,
Sport clubs.
yes. In some traveling, maybe
In a train.
in a train, yes. In trips, for example, in some famous places abroad.
Yes, you're right. So what do you do if you forget the name of someone you've been just introduced to? Is it easy for you to ask about it again, or do you feel uncomfortable about it?
To ask
A name.
It's yes, it's a little
Uneasy.
confusing,
Confusing, uncomfortable.
to ask. It's amusing to ask about name. I try to remember or ask someone else about it, but I think it's possible to ask them if you don't do it often.
So it is quite possible. There is nothing bad in it if you ask a person to say his or her name again. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
So what kind of people do you like to meet? Energetic or optimistic or pessimistic or something like that?
Maybe it doesn't matter. It's important to meet friends with the same interest, I think.
Yes. Who was the last person you met and where did you meet them?
Sorry, could you repeat?
Who was the last person, the last new person in your life you met, and where did you meet them? His or her.
It's difficult to say. I usually speak with the same people this time. Maybe it's a person from sport hall,
Sport club.
sport club. Yes. It's,
And did you feel comfortable communicating with him or her?
yes, it's comfortable. Usually. Yes, it's comfortable.
It was comfortable. Have you ever experienced being completely wrong in your first impression?
Wrong? I don't have, no. I don't know about if I have wrong impression because person who I met with, they haven't told me about it if I have a wrong impression.
To press YouTube, and we are going to watch a short video about a job interview and how to get ready to it and how to make a good impression on
Sorry,
it.
can you repeat what should I do?
Use a YouTube, press a YouTube button on the left.
Okay. Yes, I put it.
Is it okay? Can you watch it?
Yeah. Yes, I can.
So what do you think about this video? Do you like it?
Yes, it's funny video.
A funny one. So what tips of giving a good impression did you get from this video? What advice can you give us?
There are no something new.
Everything is usual. What about dress code? What did you understand about dress code and the place of dress code in giving a good first impression?
Dress there
code.
there shouldn't be
The dress
any
code
any
means the
any
tradition to dress. Yes, you know about it.
yes.
And before going to a job interview, you have to find out what are the traditions of how to wear the clothes and what is the traditional dress code of the company. If you find this information out, you may be sure that you'll make a good impression on your employee. Yes? So what's your point about it?
I agree with you.
I agree, yes. Okay, thank you. And here we've got some new useful tips. In our handout, page 7, first impressions tips. Page 8.
Page 8.
You're welcome.
First impression tips. To read?
Have you found it? Yes, you're welcome.
Ask a thoughtful question.
Thoughtful question.
Ask something that will get a unique conversation started. Instead of what do you do, ask what do you hope to take away from this event, or ask them what they think of new idea you have. People remember having an interesting conversation.
Yes. So what do you think about thoughtful questions? Are they important to ask? And what thoughtful questions would you ask in a job interview?
What I should ask?
If you were in a job interview, what thoughtful questions would you like to ask?
I would ask what is the time of job of work and what is salary?
Yes, so these questions are rather simple, and all the people ask them during the interview, and employees are trying to find someone special. And if you are asking an interesting question, the question that has some ideas important for the person that is going to hire you, they are going to make you out of all the rest of people. So that's why it is important to have a good conversation with the interviewer and make him interested in what you are talking about. And this is going to give you a point. So the scientists say, do you agree with that idea?
Yes, I do.
The second one is to listen. You're welcome to read.
Most people launch right into the pitch or chit-chat.
Yes.
You'll make a more positive, memorable impression if you allow the other person to speak first, or if you pose an open question and then listen attentively to the answer. The more the other person talks, the better a conversation partner you are received to be. My grandfather used to say there is a reason you have two ears and one mouth, use them accordingly.
Accordingly. So how do you understand this saying? You have two ears and one mouth. Use them accordingly.
I don't understand this.
So you have two ears. It means that you have to be attentive 2 times more than to talk. You have to listen more than to be able to talk. So
Yes, usually employers usually ask question then
employee
employee
answers.
Yes.
I agree with you completely. Good of you. And the next aspect, ask what you can do to help. You're welcome to read.
When meeting someone new, a great strategy is to quickly get a sense of what he or she does, and then immediately look for ways to help that person. Ask, can I make an introduction or to so and so,
Mhm.
or would it be helpful if I connected you with X?
Mhm.
Far too many people look at networking
Networking.
as a way to get things.
Things.
By approaching it as a way
Yes.
to give, you will forge great relationships with tons of amazing people while paying it forward.
Forward. So, ask what you can to do to help. So, do you think it is important, and how can you offer your help in the interview?
I don't know. Yeah, I usually don't ask question.
Mhm.
Would it help? Sorry. Can I make? What does it mean so and so?
So this way of the situation out. For example, you can propose your way of solving this problem. So and so. Do you understand it?
To so and so means to
Your way out of this situation, your decision.
my decision.
Мгм.
Can I make an introduction with me?
Вступление.
Вступление?
Мгм.
Okay.
Мгм. So the kind of things that are in business. This is, yes, do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, the next one. Give them a reason to remember you for.
I find that one of the most important things you can do during the first 5 minutes of meeting someone is give them something to remember you by.
Mhm.
At a business
Business
event,
event.
they may meet many individuals,
Mhm.
but when you make a strong and memorable first impression, your new acquaintance
Знакомый.
will
Acquaintance. Do you know this word?
no.
Acquaintance. Знакомый.
Okay. Your new acquaintance will remember you the next time you reach out.
Mhm. So give them a reason to remember you. How do you understand it? And how are you going to make a reason to remember you?
Make a reason to remember, maybe to
Make something special, or to propose something special, or to dress a little bit special. Not to be like all the rest, bit different in a good kind, so that employers could remember you and give you this vacancy you're going to apply. 5. Focus on quality and quantity. You're welcome.
Show genuine interest in the conversation.
So genuine is real interest, real interest in the conversation.
Show genuine interest in the conversation.
Mhm.
Write the event name on the business card. Then follow up within 24 hours. Go for quality of connections rather than the quantity of business cards you collect by the end of the night. Business cards aren't going to get clients at the end of the day, but connections and strong relationships will.
Mhm. So what do you think? What is more important, quality or quantity in the conversation?
As I read, right, it's quality more important. Yes.
Yes, I agree with you completely. 6. Ask that makes them happy, excited, lose sleep.
Anything. Ask what makes them happy, excited, lost sleep,
Mhm.
anything but what they do. Networking events can end up like an elevator pitch on a time loop. Stop the cycle by asking about something unrelated and see where the conversation takes you, and listen.
Mhm. And listen. Yeah, right. So in this case, we have to be attentive and ask questions about other people and try to be team working and networking. That is very important for the company. Number 7, remember their name and story. You're welcome.
Business events
Events.
Business events are an excellent way to grow your professional network by meeting in person with other professionals. You never know who you will meet and how you two may work together in the future. I have met some incredible people at events,
Events.
folks who have been extremely instrumental in my success.
Instrumental in my success. Yes. So, do you think that remembering names and their stories is important for a person?
Um, I don't know. Uh, Maybe yes.
Mm-hmm. I've been working with my colleague for some time, and it was a university huge structure. I didn't know anybody, and I didn't know all the teachers in the university. But my colleague used to say hello and good morning to everybody he met in the street. I asked him the question, "Why are you doing so?" And he told me, when he come to know him, he'll remember that once I told him good morning or hello, and he'll think that he knows me, and it is going to be a good step forward our acquaintance. Do you think that it was a good idea to do so or not?
I think it's good idea. I liked time when I was in Germany and almost all people say hello. It was pleasure,
Pleasant. It was pleasant. Mhm.
and yes, and uh, it's way uh, to be famous maybe.
Mhm. It's a good way to be famous. But when were you in Germany?
I was 3 years ago,
3 years ago. How long time have you been there?
about 10 days.
10 days. Mhm.
Yes.
And what impressed you in Germany most of all?
Most of all, people, uh, people and buildings,
Mhm.
roads impressed me most of
Most
all.
of all. Where have you been, in Eastern Germany or in the Western part?
I was in western part.
In Western part.
Yes.
Mhm. Mhm. What about the people? Are they the same as in Russia or a little bit different?
I think that they di very different.
Mhm.
They
In what
look
way?
kind people, smiling, often smiling people. Um, I have uh, I haven't seen any aggressive people.
Mhm.
It's like a fairy tale.
You were pleasantly impressed by their attitude to you, I guess.
Yes, yes.
Mhm. Okay, okay. And let's come back to our text. We've got the next thing. So 8,
8.
clearly defined, clearly define,
Oh, what does it mean, define?
define, to determine or to say.
To say?
Define. To define. Uh, yes, let's go on. I'll find it for you.
I
Let's go
find
on.
it where I find it. Have
Let's
you
go. Mhm. Let's go on reading.
Have your elevator pitch ready to roll. Try to make it interesting and deliver it with passion. Be proud and excited about what you do and make the message clear and sticky.
Yes. Okay.
I
Do you agree to this point?
I didn't understand a lot of words. Pitch, what else? Passion, and sticky.
Yes, okay, there are different words to understand. So this is intonation of your voice. And you have to put your intonation to be very comfortable with and convenient for you. And you have to make it interesting and deliver with your passion. So you have to make your communicator interested in what you are talking about and make your message clear and positive. So this is the main thing. Do you understand it?
Yes.
Okay, tell a story. Next thing, you're welcome.
Be authentic and tell a story. Stories are the best way to create a metaphor and allow other people to understand the type of thinker that you are. Be authentic.
Authentic. So you have to be special. Authentic means to be special.
Special?
Mm-hmm.
But
you have to tell the story and make the other person be interested in what you are talking about. So this is the idea. And the word to define means определять, давать точное определение, устанавливать значение, давать характеристику. So you can see it in the chat box. Okay. The word has got many meanings. The next is smile and make eye contact. Let's read it.
Metaphor. Smile and make your contact. People make judgments within the first 7 seconds or so of meeting you, and that's statistically around the point at which they start tuning out if you don't engage them. Smiling at them and making sincere eye contact shows them that you are warm and interested in speaking with them. These tiny gestures will set the stage for you to engage in a meaningful conversation.
So, what does it mean, meaningful conversation?
Meaningful conversation может быть существенный, что разговор, я не знаю.
Yes, the conversation in which both partners understand each other. So this is meaningful. Say their names. You're welcome.
Say their name. Everyone likes to hear the sound of their own name, and it helps you form a connection that matched with solid eye contact and a firm handshake creates a positive first impression.
Yes. So, meaningful means выразительный, многозначительный. You can have it in the chat box. It's the translation of it into Russian and saying their name. So saying their names is really important, and having an eye contact and a meaningful conversation it really helps to get a positive first impression. Then send an intro email on the spot. So what do you think it means to send an intro email on the spot?
I don't know.
So let's read about it.
It's 2014. I don't get the value of business cards anymore. Anytime I meet someone and they try to end the conversation with "Use my business card." I stop them, pull out my phone and ask them to enter their email address. After that, I send them a quick intro email and boom, we are connected. While it's a little awkward in person, it has exponentially increased the amount of follow-ups I get after meeting them the first time.
Mhm. Yes. So, do you think that is important to remember emails more than telephone numbers?
I think for me it's difficult to remember. Maybe they should write it. Maybe I think phone numbers more important.
Phone numbers are more important. Yes, but in this case, you see that people use this approach. Do you know what awkward means?
No.
So awkward means неуклюжий, неловкий, неудобный, трудный. Something like that. You'll know this word? Yes, okay. Talk about your passions. Let's read about it.
Tell them about your passions and ask them about theirs. This can be as simple as saying, "So, what is it you are passionate about?" After the typical, "Here's what I do," back and forth, this tends to catch people off guard in a good way, and allows them to either wax poetic about the aspect of the work they love, or something outside their work to which you may have a connection. Either way, it helps build the relationship.
So it is important to talk about the leisure time activities and what you like to do. So in a job interview, sometimes it is useful to know what do your employers like to do and what you like to do, and to connect your likes and compliment them. The last one,
Make sure that your appearance and
demeanor
radiate health and energy. Be genuinely interested in the people you meet.
Genuinely means originally. Be originally interested in the people. From the very beginning, get interested in the people you meet.
Ask them questions about themselves and try to find something on which to compliment them.
Yes. So, do you think that it is important to be interested in other people and your employees and compliment them, or it is not so important? What's your point of view?
Sorry, it depends on profession, maybe.
I see that you are a little bit tired after the lesson. We've read lots of texts and found out many interesting words.
Yes, after 2 private lessons.
I think you're going to have a good sleep and a good rest today.
Yes.
I wish you to have a good evening and all the best. See you in my future classes, and bye for now.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.